Good morning. Do I have a motion to call the meeting of the COA Board of Directors, March 15th, 2023, meeting to order? I said that crazy.
I seconded.
Thank you, at 9:35.
Who made the motion?
I did.
Oh, thank you.
Barbara and Marie seconded.
Thank you, thank you.
Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes? We have two sets of minutes, one from our last meeting, February 15th, and one from the March 1st FinCom meeting. Has everyone had a chance to read them? Do I have a motion to approve, and we have to separate them, so do I have a motion to approve the minutes from February 15th meeting? Barbara motioned?
Well,
Marie?
and Linda's trying to get your
all right.
attention.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, are there any comments? Is that what you were going to do, comment?
No, I
or
was
you-
going to motion.
You were
but that's
motioning.
okay.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay,
We need a
all in
round.
favor of approving the minutes from February 15th?
Aye.
Say aye. Okay. And one absent. We have a motion to approve the minutes of March 1st meeting.
I'll motion to approve the meeting. And
A second?
I'll second.
Any comments? Have a vote? All in favor of approving the March 1st meeting? Say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Treasurer's report. We have, thank you, Marie. This is where we stand.
Well, these figures are always, have to change, because the figures are a little different than the treasurer's office, but the
Right.
dates are different.
Mm-hmm. So we have used,
But it's subject to change.
okay. So you can see as we are looking at our expenses that we are quite, quite down, or we've used more than that was allotted. Any comments? Questions? Or do you have anything different? Sean?
I have the snapshot from the treasurer's summary
Mhm.
attached to my director updates.
Oh.
The couple of things just to keep in mind is just the payrolls don't fall necessarily on the clean month end. So
Right.
there's that. And then there's a batch process for the warrants, the bills payable as well. So I'll continue to do this through this view through the end of fiscal, and then we can update the ongoing template starting. It's just easier to finish out the last 3 months with the treasurer's, or with the monitoring it from the treasurer's office.
Where they actually.
Yeah, where they fell.
Once June 30th comes.
We'll have a new year and we'll have a new budget. And so we can
Exactly.
go back and create a template. I think when you add lines to the other template, it just, the formulas get all squirrely.
Right.
So nothing is really, there's nothing surprising to me here other than, and this isn't surprising either, it's just something to make note of, is just the expense line items. We've pretty much used our bucket for the year.
Right.
Which is why I asked for those
Which is
numbers
why
to
we
be
went to-
adjusted.
yeah.
So, based on actuals. And it also accounts for a couple of like one-time costs in the expense line items. So
Right.
if we get something close to what we asked for in the fiscal '24 proposal for those line items, then we will be covered for a better part of the new year. So that doesn't really, it's not good, but it doesn't really surprise me.
Right.
And then the only other thing that I would say, was just to, we'll stay on the budget snapshot, I think, is the DOT grant. We are applying money there, and that actually hasn't deposited yet into the account, which is fine. We knew that.
Oh, I thought they said March 1st it would be deposited.
Usually mid-March to the end of March.
Okay.
So it's fine. It's just, we're monitoring it, but it's okay. And then, what else? And then on the revolving account, that is kind of a rolling total. What I will do, starting with the new fiscal year, is I will provide the rolling total, but I will also provide the in-year number as well, because that captures like ongoing, and I would love to see what that is received and spent in that year, because I think that will give us a good indication of, like I said, where, like how much we're taking in versus what we're spending every month. And I know that, quick rough of the numbers, we're spending more than we're taking in on average. If we were to be applying to that revolving account all of the program expenses as we would going forward. So, again, not necessarily surprising, but just something to monitor. So I'll provide 2 views there.
Okay. Any questions?
Question. On the director's salary line, I know that there was some money spent out of that, starting in July and going forward, for the other directors, and then, of course, you're not going to receive your whole salary because you're not working the whole year. Is there going to be any money left over in that line that could be moved somewhere else?
So typically what happens with anything out of the operating account that isn't spent, it goes into the general fund at the end of the fiscal for the town.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Good question. That's a
Can
good
that-
question.
Yeah.
Can that money that's unspent from the director's salary be shifted to another line item, or is that forbidden?
It goes, anything that's left over in total
Okay.
from the operating account, the operating budget in total, any line item out of the operating budget. If you, whatever is not spent automatically goes into the general operating fund for the town. That's
Line item by line item.
Yep,
you mean,
yep.
not-
So like if the total budget, I'll make it up, but if like if our operating budget was 10,000 for the year and we only spent 7, regardless of how that 7 was spent, various line items, 3,000 would get deposited into the general operating fund.
But I think what Irene is
But what if you
asking,
what if you had $10,000 and because you didn't have personnel staff for the
Yep.
whole year?
Yep.
You had $2,000 left over in that line item, but you were $1,000 in debt for the programming budget, could you transfer? Okay, thank
that's
you.
what we're asking. You can't transfer.
No transfer.
No line
From
item.
Peter to
Okay.
Paul. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's
Good
report?
questions, though.
Yes. Motion? Second? Barbara? All in favor of accepting the treasurer's report and the snapshot report?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Unanimous. Okay. We'll have the director's report now.
Sure, we can start right from the top. So March and April events are going well. It's been very, very busy. The AARP tax prep is well underway. We're a few weeks into it. It is going well for the most part. I put a snapshot there of the participation for each of the weeks so far that we've had. I would say it's going well. Generally speaking, I've had pretty good feedback from it. The only 2 things that I'm watching with regard to that program is just the number of people that we're serving from out of town. It's a lot, and I think if we were to do it again, I would love to give Groveland residents kind of first come, first serve, and then have out-of-town residents.
How do you do
participate.
that when they call?
Yeah, I mean, I think we should look at it in general next year. I think, I'm a little torn about it only because I know it's a really good service because tax prep is very expensive. But I do think that if we were to do it, we do have some opportunity to make it a little bit more beneficial to the residents here, specifically in Groveland. We are one of a few towns still doing it, which is partly why it filled up so quickly. I have a few ideas as to why we're one of the few towns that is participating in it still, but I will save that for the summary until the end when it's over. But if we were to do it, I think we have some opportunity to make it more beneficial to local residents.
And my question, too, is
yeah.
that if people were going to cancel, like if you look at February 17th, there were 11 people. That day was filled. 3 slots for 3 people for every time, and those people did not call to cancel to let a waiting list know.
So I'm not surprised to see the lowest number on the first week, because I think logistically, they were working
Getting
some of-
ready.
like getting things worked out. My sense is that John and the group kind of erred on the side of caution, which actually I'm okay with, because I think it took them, I don't think, I know, because I stayed, it took them right up until 3:15 to get through the 11
finish.
people. So they're starting to get more efficient, a little bit more comfortable, and, you know, they can get through 18, 16 people now by 2:30.
Right.
So they're getting a little better with it.
I'm still receiving calls,
Yeah.
but I'm forwarding them
Yeah.
to him
Yep.
exactly, and he can
Yep.
deal.
But I think it's good, and I've talked to some people on their way out just to get some feedback, and it's been pretty positive. The trips and transportation services, that's going really well. We've had, the last couple of weeks in particular, it's been a very busy NEAT request over the last few days. I think just a lot of doctor's appointments and services, and it's that time of the year. So that's not really surprising to me. We had the pizza party, as you know. We had 31 attendees. That went really well. And we're seeing a slight increase on the game day, which is great. Typically, they had 4 or 5 kind of core members participating every week, and now it's up to 7. And so the word is starting to get out. So I'm hoping that as more people join game day, we can expand to other games during the course of the space here in the room. 3B Fitness has always got good participation. It ranges from 7 to 13, depending on the day and the weather.
Wait till the tent goes up.
I know.
There will be like 20.
I know.
There's no room where we're going.
We're in the middle of volunteer appreciation brunch planning and process. The Friends have agreed to pay for gift cards, as well as a thank you to the volunteers, and then the brunch portion of it from Chicken Connection. So that will be on my request to them on their meeting, for their meeting tomorrow. And then the tent, we do have a call into the gentleman that we got the tent from. We've not heard back from him yet about the pricing on the sides. We were tentatively scheduled to have it go up on the 1st. I'm a little concerned with that being too early in the season. I typically, in the last couple of years, we did it at the end of April in Merrimack, and I know that some of the other directors have done it. This year in particular, I'm probably a little bit more cautious because the winter's been so squirrely. I'm really afraid that we are going to get an April snowstorm.
Well,
So,
when you say April 1st, that doesn't mean it's going to go up April 1st.
no, but,
In the past, it'll be up April 1st, and it was more like April 15th or 16th.
yeah. I know Merrimack is
Just you have to
scheduled
get
to
the people
do.
to do it,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know Merrimack is scheduled to do it the last week of April, the first week of May. So if unless there's any other concerns that I'm not aware of, if we could move it out, I would do that. It would also give us more time to contact the gentleman about the pricing, and for the sides. And we'll price at least 3 sides, and,
That'd be perfect.
yeah. So that's the story with that. And then the food pantry, it's been very, very busy. We have seen steady increased participation week over week. This week, we saw our largest participation. We had 17 residents, serving 17 residents, and we gave out 282 pounds of food. Every week that
That's
we've been
good.
tracking it, it's gone up a little bit every week. So I think that's really great.
So I would like to jump in here.
Yeah.
So the first week, we got fresh and frozen food from our neighbor's table. We gave out 180 pounds of food. And I raised my eyebrows at that. And then the next week, it was 240 pounds.
Yeah.
And yesterday, it was 282.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was awesome.
day.
And it was busy.
Really
that
good.
was busy.
Yeah.
It was
The
busy.
majority of the participation has been on that first day, which is the Wednesday afternoon, which is fine.
Oh, It's fresh
Um,
food.
It's actually quite smart of people to come because that's the day they can actually get milk and they can access the amount of milk and eggs that
They
are
want.
are delivered to us.
Yeah, yeah.
We think the increase is partly, I mean, obviously with the pantry, with freezer and refrigerator, we have more, but do you think it's also a result of this cutbacks in federal support?
I do, yes. But I also think that there's a big awareness issue that's at play. So I have spent, since I started in partnership with Maureen, but I have spent a very significant amount of time each week on outreach. And we've worked it into our conversations, just trying to uncover services that are needed. There's a variety of reasons that they need it. Some of it I think is that, some of it I think is circumstantial, like financial circumstances have changed for one reason or another. So I think it's a combination of things. The outreach portion of our phone calls has done, I think, a pretty good job of uncovering the need, which is why that role is so important, because you have to kind of peel back that need via other conversations. And so the folks that we're seeing, in particular on the Wednesday afternoon over the last 2 weeks, have been folks that I know that we've spoken to about other things. And then via those conversations, we've said, if you need this, we have it. And then the next week they come, which is great. Maureen has also been very good about following up with people who have come in the past on Monday and Tuesday. And I think that the cadence is also very easy to understand. Call by Tuesday, the food gets delivered on Wednesday, we're open Wednesday afternoon, and then anybody else, if they still need something, can come on Thursday as well. Like, that's very clear and very simple. So I think it's a combination of things, and folks are aware of the benefits that are changing. So the more people we can reach via those conversations, either outreach-specific conversations or just in our general interactions, I think the better. I think it's only going to go up. So it's been great teamwork among the volunteers, Maureen and everyone. So it's working the way that we were hoping it would, which is really great. Yeah, it's really, really good. And then we're also in the process of May and June planning, just for both Older Americans Month and then a couple of new events as well. Nothing is 100% finalized yet, but just to give you a quick preview, we are going to do 2 events that are specific to Older Americans Month. The theme of this year's month is Aging Unbound, and so we're trying to put together programming to celebrate that is representative of seniors who are kind of living that mantra. I am partnering with the library to put one of the events together. They have been super helpful in coming together and doing something as part of that. And we're going to also start up wellness appointments. Anita Wright, the Board of Health nurse, has agreed to come back and help us out with that on Fridays. I'm going to give her the outreach office, and she's going to do wellness appointments. It's not going to be just blood pressure clinic or something like that. It's going to be a little bit more encompassing. So if they want to talk about advice, if they have questions about medication, they can do those other things, blood pressures, vitamins, but it's also more consultative as well, and she can help guide them. And we'll do a feature in the newsletter to talk about that. But I'm really excited about that, and she has been phenomenal in terms of whatever it is that we need. She stepped right in and said, I'll do it. And then I think we're going to have some flower arranging classes this year. She has.
Okay.
And we are just putting together what that might look like for the next remainder of this year. We'll probably try to get in, if it's successful, 3 or 4 classes, kind of seasonal, like 1 class seasonally is what I would like to do. So we're still putting the final touches on that. And then I also talked to Rebecca, both of the chiefs as well as the clerk. I did this in Merrimack. It was very popular and very helpful. We did something like a breakfast with the chiefs. They have all agreed to participate, which is fantastic, where the department heads will come, but also the 2 chiefs will provide key members of their department that are often interacting with the senior population as well, and they will get to have breakfast with them. And then the department heads, the 2 chiefs, the clerk, Rebecca, can answer questions and provide key updates. This is really good, especially as we go into the fall and winter with, Christmas decorations and Christmas trees and lights and heating and smoke alarms and all of that. So my hope is that it gives them an opportunity to come and meet on a social level some of the folks that come out and help them on a daily and weekly basis, but also to provide tips and reminders, safety tips, reminders, and whatnot. We'll do that seasonally as well. Any updates on March and April, and then, or any questions rather on March and April, and then May and June?
So now I wonder, in the past, a gentleman from National Grid, I think, Ray Gooley.
Ray Gooley.
His name finally came back to me. Ray Gooley would come and do a program on electric safety practices.
In
And-
October, usually.
Oh, was in October? He's been a good resource.
I think he retired.
Did he?
I think, don't say definitely, but I
Okay.
think he retired and they haven't replaced,
Probably not.
Yeah. yeah.
It's a demanding job
But
because,
he would go to the schools and he would come here, yeah, go ahead,
yeah.
yeah. I think he did retire,
But they might have a replacement.
maybe by now.
I'll look at more of that, like, as an ongoing, it'll just be something that I'll keep my eyes open
Yeah.
for, because I think it's helpful. We have the SCAM seminar
Yeah, that's good.
with the department.
Mhm.
We only have a few people signed up for it, not very many. I will say that historically, some of the educational-related events were not very well attended where I've come from. So what I'm trying to do is make the educational events, when possible, more fun, add some, food and beverage, a little bit more engaging rather than sit and learn, just to try to get some participation. Because I do think that, to your point, the tips, especially as we go into the fall and the winter, the tips and on safety and what have you are really important. So I'll keep my eyes peeled for that, and then just try to add things to enhance it, and make it a little bit, a little more fun as we go. But any questions on that? Okay. And fiscal '24 planning, you all saw that I presented to FinCom on 3/1. I'll certainly keep you updated on that. I haven't heard anything. I know that we went to the selectmen meeting, and they did share, not the detailed numbers of the budget, but just kind of overall directionally where it was going, to get their buy-in on that. So really great, I think, a really great synopsis from the head of the finance committee on what they were seeing and why it was important, and kind of what went into the asks from each of the departments. Again, not necessarily giving a line item by line item account, but just contextually giving them an idea of what they saw and why they saw it. I think she did a fantastic job. So more to come on that for sure. And then we had 2 warrants and payrolls submitted since we last met, so I just put that there. And then we already went through the budget snapshot.
Thank you. Any questions about the director's report? We don't need to vote on that. We just do it. Okay, we have kind of covered the pantry and food services updates, unless there are more from anyone? Under old business? No? And the AARP tax, yep.
So in the food pantry, I'm just wondering about the ceiling tiles. Any progress on that?
They are on order,
Yay.
and he will put them in as soon, we'll probably do it on a Friday afternoon when
Great.
we're closed, because
Okay.
we'll need to cover everything. But they are on order, and he's done that as well.
Excellent.
And then the vendor for the refrigerator is coming out this week, just to take a look at it, to make sure that it's regulating and
Temperature.
doing what it needs to do.
Well, I noticed that that little red number in the upper
Yeah, it
right-hand
doesn't
corner
really
is
move.
saying 0
It doesn't
now.
really move, but we have temperatures
Right.
inside, so that's what I monitor, because it's more real time.
Okay,
But they're coming to take a look at it.
Fabulous.
Just to be sure.
Great.
thank you.
Okay, we've covered the AARP tax program. Applications for outreach and van driver, there have been none. So,
I ask weekly.
Okay.
okay. Website updates.
The town website update.
Oh, the town website update.
You asked about that last month, Larry.
It's all,
the
what?
website being updated.
Oh, yes.
All set.
Mhm,
all
I saw
set.
that, I did
Yeah.
notice that, yeah.
Is it up? It
Yeah,
has been?
It's all set. Yeah.
Yay! Ask and you shall receive.
Occasionally.
March, April newsletter feedback, I am going to say, I have met so many people that have come up to me and said, you work on the COA board? And I said, yeah. They said, that newsletter was wonderful. Oh, you can
Oh,
read it.
good.
It was
Me
bright.
too.
And I think having it more easily read or able to be read
Yeah.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
clear is going to wake people up about, oh, look what they're doing, you know? I mean, I've heard a lot. I don't know if
Me
anyone
too.
has heard a lot too, but people that I said, oh, you read the newsletter, good, that's good to know. And then I right away say, and are you on the email list? But, yeah.
I do have a meeting scheduled with the vendor, so that any kind of adjustments to ad space that might need to be done in order to maintain that level of production, we kind of get in front of it. So if you look really closely at the newsletter ad space, and you really have to look because it's well disguised. There's really only, if you add up all of the paid ads, there's really only one page of paid ads, and we have two pages for ad spaces. So I've already spoken to them. They are super flexible. They are wonderful to work with. I'm so happy that we have them. But I did tell them that we had received some good feedback and that this is probably a much more accurate indication of what the production level is going to be on an ongoing basis. So we have to keep it, profitable for them, they need to fill that other page. So we sent them over a list of businesses and
good.
and we're going to work with them on any questions. So they have this information. They know it's not going to go back to the way that it was. That this is a good indication of what it's going to be, and we're going to proactively work with them to get that filled, that space filled.
Yeah, that's
and
good, because
purchased.
if we're having people read it, then they can approach local businesses.
Mhm, Yep.
And that was going to be my question. Oh, could we go and approach, not that that's our job, but,
We
you know.
gave them the counts, like they
list.
have all the counts, so, based on the great work that Irene and folks have done on the list,
Thank you, Irene.
this is really a good, between the number of pages, the new layout, the list, this is a very good indication of this is what the year will be. And so I want to make sure that, in fairness to them, that they, that it's profitable for them, because we're not going to go back to the old way, so.
Great.
So, yeah, more to come on that.
The COA textile bin and recycling.
I remember that, yeah. So I have an update on that as well. So I did talk to EcoSmith, and from my conversation with them, it's the equivalent of, we had a contract, and then after the date, it basically goes month to month. That's my understanding of it. So we had a contract, it's been in place for a long time. We can officially re-up the contract if we want. They have since updated the contract. I do have a copy of that. I can certainly get with the town administrator on any updates that they have related to the town-wide vendor that they want to use. The difference is 5 cents on the current vendor. That is not changing, even if we do, sign the new contract and, become current with it. It's still going to be the 5 cents. So I can talk with the town administrator and see, where they are with that. But I feel confident that we have the flexibility to make the decision one way or the other. It doesn't,
And it did not come under the Friends
no.
purview, okay.
And if it did, it was so long ago that
Nobody remembers.
nobody really remembers, including them for that matter. So, the vendor.
Oh, the
Yeah.
vendor,
Yeah.
okay. All right, thank you. The Groveland Municipal Stakeholder Committee, they did have a meeting. I don't know if anyone else received an email about that I given the names, you didn't? And I guess until they really I think it was like a planning meeting where they were going from here. Annie Schindler, who is our planning, I don't know her official term, or official job name, but she knows that, there are three of us that are interested in being on that committee. So once they have a meeting, we'll be contacted. It was just like they didn't even plan to their next meeting, like next meeting they didn't even have that, so. Is there any other old business to be brought forward? Okay. New business, the director's performance evaluation. I was supposed to do research about that, I shouldn't say I was supposed to. I did research about that, and Sean and I have spoken. So Sean's first evaluation will be due his 6-month evaluation. Typically, that is done by the town administrator, or it's happening. Before, it wasn't really happening, but now that we have this in place and it's in the town bylaws that you have a 6-month performance evaluation and then yearly performance evaluation. So Rebecca and I chatted, and she said it was, however the board wanted to go forward. Sean and I have discussed it, and typically, his 6-month would be done by Rebecca, the town administrator. If we wanted to weigh in, if we wanted to have a secondary evaluation that would be more in line with the actual job responsibilities of a director of COA, the performance evaluation that Rebecca is working on is, town hall-wide, all departments, department heads. So if we wanted to add a little bit, we could meet together as a collaboration, or for his 6-month, have her do that, and then yearly, we do it either in collaboration with Rebecca, or the board does it, or she suggested that I appoint a committee that would be the personnel committee. And I think.
We have a personnel committee.
We do,
yeah.
don't we? And
Yeah.
I forget who's on it, I'd have to check.
It's Irene, you and I.
That's what I thought. So if you want to get together and work on an evaluation that would maybe touch base with the individual job responsibilities, and, we could do that and either do it at his 6-month in collaboration with Rebecca's, or wait until the year. So, it's up to you. It does say in our bylaws it has to be done by December. So I don't know where he's going to be evaluated in July, if that would be the evaluation for the year 2023. And then going forward, do we do it by December, or do we do it on his anniversary, or however, or a year from his 6-month? So I think that would be something that we do as a committee and come back to the board if everyone's okay with that. All right? I forgot to, thank you, Larry, because I forgot. I thought I was on it and I wasn't sure who else. Thank you. So we will work on that, and it does go hand in hand with the Collins Center, with their job description, not the old one. And I think the town is trying to get everybody to follow the Collins Center responsibilities, job responsibilities, as well as pay, as well as they can get them up that way.
Can I just make?
Yes,
one
go.
comment? Just on that topic, I will do my department reviews regardless of forms or whatever's created
Yeah.
for the town. I will do them anyway, and I will align them to happen just prior to the new fiscal year every year. So that way, there's some sort of cadence, and it happens by December, so that checks that box, but also it's a good way to tie that discussion into any kind of increases that may occur at the start of the new.
Exactly.
So I'll
Yeah,
do
you're responsible, we're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
responsible
yeah,
for
I know,
that.
I just
And
wanted to let you
that
know.
is a good idea, to do it before budget season, before you start working on a budget, like, hey, if you're really going to fight to get a 5% increase or something because this person has been outstanding,
Yep.
or, just give them the 2.
But I think it'll be good. It'll be helpful to have.
Yep.
And then the employees know as well.
Yes, thank you.
And clarifying question, has the town received numbers of appropriate compensations
Yes.
for positions
Yes.
within the, oh, thank you.
That's, so the meeting the other day with the
Okay.
with the selectmen, that was based on, I mean, that doesn't mean that, you know, if they recommend such and such a salary for a position, that the town can automatically jump way
Correct.
up there
Sure.
from 20 to
It's a guide.
60,000. It's a
Yes.
guide. So that what they're trying to do is get everybody up kind of equally, because there's some positions that are right where they should be, and some that are way down here. So they're trying to bring
Right.
everybody up. It's not going to be the
Right.
highest rate that the Collins Center has suggested, because
And the study is just there to inform.
inform and
Based-
suggest,
Yeah,
right, not suggest,
based on-
recommend.
Based on the same position in other municipalities of similar
Right.
and varying size.
But that's the important part, inform
Yep.
for more equity
Yes,
to local
across the board.
positions of that caliber.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So, discussion of monthly donations. That would be, you
So-
mean monthly for the pantry, or?
No, well, sure, that too. But at our last meeting, Sean, you mentioned that what we tend to take in on a monthly basis for donations is much lower than what goes out. And so what can we do about that?
So we can talk about this and then the next one on the new business line item as well, because I think it goes hand in hand.
Mhm.
I think at the current level of programming, we're fine, right? I think everything is fine. But as I think ahead, if
Yeah.
and again, I'm cautiously optimistic, if we get something, you know, out of our new budget proposal, if it basically, as I mentioned, shapes it so that the town is paying for operating costs, and then, you know, we pay for the programming out of our revolving account and then our grants, which is fine. What I asked the Friends kind of initially was to be thinking about ways to fundraise and increase donors, you know, in working with me and joining the meetings, the Friends meetings every month or every couple of months when they have them. You know, I would give them specific things to work towards, because if I say just fundraise, typically that's not nearly as successful as if I were to say fundraise for this, and then it provides them a message to go out with and to ask for these donations. If you donate today, you know, business A, B, and C, you're helping to support this initiative associated with the Council on Aging. So that was the discussion that I had with them. And, you know, the bug that I put in their ear that we were going to speak to in the meeting, and I will on tomorrow's meeting as well. But we just want to kind of be mindful that that's kind of the mindset that the Friends need to get into on an ongoing basis, because we will be so dependent on the revolving account and the grants. So again, at the current programming, we're fine, but if we were to go beyond the current programming, which I would like to do so that we can expand our reach, to kind of be thinking about ways to do that is very, very important. I haven't seen, I don't think it is this, but an updated like financial statement from the Friends, because I haven't had the opportunity to meet with them yet since I started. So I'll be curious to see what that looks like, and that will help inform the things that we need to do as well. They've been very great about supporting us and supplementing activities that cost a little bit more than the average activity, which is wonderful. But I would love to be able to do more. And I'll use the flower arranging class as an example. That would be something that we would supplement, right? We would, and I'm totally making this up, but if the cost was $25 per person after pricing all the supplies, what I have typically done is participants pay 10 and the COA picks up 15. So to do those types of things going forward on a more frequent basis, we will need some, you know, fundraising going forward. That's all. And I think it can certainly be done, and I think we have a really good base. Again, I'm just thinking about the future.
Thank you.
So you were Friends of the Groveland COA update. Did you have anything?
No, they moved the meeting to tomorrow,
Tomorrow,
and Linda, I think, is coming, and I think Larry is coming. So we'll meet with them. They have, a couple of the officers have expressed an interest in possibly stepping down. So we'll talk to them about that, and then, figure out a plan based on what vacancies we think we might see come the new year.
Future programs, we discussed that already, unless there are others that we do not know.
The only thing I would say on future programs is if you guys could be my eyes and ears, as I know you are, as you're out and about and kind of doing your things. You've heard me ask, as I've met with people at the meet and greet and just as they come into the office, in my everyday interactions with them, I want to hear feedback on what they would like. We're here to serve them and provide them the opportunity with these activities and services. So the more information we can gather in the meantime, I think would be great. If we're hearing anything that folks would like to have, specific, I've heard Zoom a couple of times on the exercise side of things. I've heard music-related activities on, so I'm looking at that as well, and we'll incorporate that into events in the future. I have a couple of contacts that I've met this last week.
On that note, I was thinking about it since we talked about it that day. Can we partner with places like, I don't know how many people we could technically get into this room for an event, but can we partner with, like, I know Nichols Village, Lee did that program last week, and
That was wonderful.
can we use their facility? Can we use VC Park? Because one thing, I was watching the news one night, and Maria Stefanos was on, and all of a sudden the light came on my head. She's a Groveland girl.
Yep.
And maybe perhaps getting in touch with her and saying, would you be willing to come in and talk to our seniors, a lot of which you might know. They certainly might know you, and she might be a draw, because she's so
So
out there.
I have the contact information now of the activities director for Nichols Village. So I'm going to meet with her separately and just talk with her about logistically how that would work, and figure out ways to either do something like a satellite event there, so to speak, using that as like a satellite location where appropriate, and then also ways, because I would like, if it's possible, I would like the reverse to happen as well. I would like for her to encourage folks to come here. So I want it to be kind of a two-way dialogue, and a two-way partnership. And I think we can. I think we can do it. I just want to make sure that, that it's happening, and we're doing it at times that make the most sense. But I've heard in my conversations with the library as well, like, again, just kind of working with each other back and forth and helping to further the cause of each of us.
Okay, good.
And Eleanor did seem very interested that Wednesday of the talk. She said, please, here's my card, give it to Sean, and I'd really like to talk and see if we can collaborate.
Yeah.
So it seems
I'm
as if
very
we've got
optimistic about it.
positive energy coming together from
Right.
both sides.
Yeah.
So good. Is there anything other? I would just like to
Oh,
say.
yes.
Oh, go ahead.
First of all, Larry and Barbara need to get their key fobs.
Well, hers was not
And-
operable, but Larry, I have yours, and I'll show you
Oh,
how to use
okay.
it.
And finally, I have an updated list for everybody of our email and phone numbers and contacts for your
Thank you.
resources. Yeah, I kept
And maybe
forgetting
we
to
should
somehow do
mention this too, that, to the audience, if you're
Oh, I
not
want to.
even if you're a senior, I believe you could, because there is a part that says, if you're not a senior.
if you
Anyway,
participate
if
at
you
all.
participate, if
Yeah.
you ever come into the COA office in any capacity or the pantry, please stop
Do you need
in
one of
at
those, Sean?
the COA office, and they will issue you this very nice card. Are you focusing on this camera? It's my senior center card. And there's a kiosk there that you sign in on, and you say if you're there for an activity, to volunteer, whatever. This tracks everyone who is coming in any capacity to the COA, goes right into the My Senior Center, which is the program that tracks numbers, and it will prove the numbers of people that are interacting at some point or some way with the COA. So please come down and get your card. And Larry, this is yours. I better put the tag back on so I don't think it's mine.
I'll get it after.
And I did mention this to each of you individually in various times throughout the last couple of weeks, but we will continue to build out the usage and functionality of My Senior Center because it's one of those tools that the more you use it and the more information you put into it, the better it is, and it helps support us. So this was just one of those things. But we will, in the future, we'll be tracking volunteers through there and hours. We have the ability to do that. We turned that on. And so we'll do that as well. So if you're a volunteer, for example, participating in the tax work-off program, you can come at the end of the year, and I can literally print out a summary in one spot of all of your volunteer hours, which is really great. And then it goes towards our reporting as well.
Too bad we didn't have this in January.
We're gonna
We're going to back it, the hours I put in down
We're
here.
gonna go back.
Volunteer.
Yep.
But that's okay.
It's
No, I
easy.
thi-
It's easy to do.
We've been talking about it for a while, and so I'm glad it's finally here, because other communities do have these I'm calling it a key card. I don't really know what it's
That's okay.
called. But anyway, and thank you, Irene, for putting this together.
Oh, you're welcome.
Can you email it to me?
Yes,
Okay.
and I'm going to need another copy of this.
I got it for you.
Thanks.
Okay, and so, is there anything else? Okay. Our next scheduled meeting is April 19th, here, in this meeting place at the town hall.
Same time, 9:30?
Same time, 9:30. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
None of us want to leave.
Nobody wants to leave?
You
I
have,
say.
you have 9 minutes left if
We
you
have
want
9
Okay,
minutes.
what do we have to say?
No, that we were very businesslike, because we have to be out of here at 10:30 anyway, don't we? So,
I just wish I could put into words how positive and grateful and sometimes humorous the people are who come to visit the food pantry. Yeah, they just really, it's kind of a mutual uplifting. They kind of uplift the
I would
people
agree.
who were working in the food pantry, or, and we try to uplift them, and Sean has been wonderful in inviting people in, and what more can we do for you? And so it's been very welcoming, and I think that's another factor that contributes to the increase in
agree.
use.
and, I mean, even when I was making the tax appointments, some of the conversations I had just made my day. They were just funny, or we just connected, and then when I came here to the pizza meet and greet, people show, "You're Laurel," and we talked on the phone. It was just really, really nice connection. And again, I was going to say, I've met so many people. I met Sean today. Oh, what a nice man. Oh, he's going to be great. So, thank you.
Yes, no
And thank you,
problem.
board,
Thank
for
you
being.
for all of your support. And I think it's really important what Irene said about the food pantry, because it's important that we're approachable.
Yes.
And everyone feels comfortable with coming in. So, without naming names, I mean, we had a couple of participants this week that it's taken a couple of weeks for us to reach them. And when I say reach them, I mean convince them that this is
come.
there for them to use when they need it. And folks may not need it forever. It may be a temporary situation, but once they got there, I think we saw there was a little sense of relief that this was an approachable environment and a friendly environment, to Irene's point, and I
Welcoming.
think welcoming.
A
I think
welcoming
that's
environment.
It's really, really important.
Plus, I want
I
to
think it
thank
is, too.
the drivers.
Yes.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
Because yesterday,
Yeah, we were busy.
yesterday, what two of the volunteer food delivery drivers had to do, one of them had 3 bags for one person and 5 for another person. It was work, but there was a young man here who came with his mom, who was the other volunteer driver, and
Helped both.
I said, we could use some muscles here, and he was great. He just kept carrying bags until they were all in the car.
Yep.
and ready to go, but it's, until yesterday, I guess I didn't realize how much the delivery drivers are doing.
So since this is aired in some way, shape, or form, I will just put a little public service announcement out there that if you're watching this and you personally don't need the food pantry, but you may know of somebody around you, a family member, a
Excellent.
neighbor, a friend, that could benefit from this, again, even if on a temporary basis, please encourage them to give me a call or stop in. The hours are, from anytime after 1 o'clock on Wednesday, and then Thursday as well, 9 to 3. But they are certainly welcome to stop by anytime, and we will help them as best as we can.
And donations are also
And donations are
always
also-
welcome.
Are always welcome. And if you would like a specific list of things that we need, please give us a call and we can provide that to you as well.
And a thank you to everyone who has been donating.
Mm-hmm.
It's been helpful. Okay,
Great.
so do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Have a second?
Second.
Adjourn the meeting at 10:25 a.m. Okay, thank you.
Come try the fob. Okay, yep.
So